I want to thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Frank Marsilio. I'm the Interim Dean of Science here at the University of Alberta. I'm pleased to welcome you to the Centennial Center for Interdisciplinary Science. That's this building, and here in one of the two big lecture theaters here. Tonight's talk is titled A Smart Move, Artificial Intelligence and Strategy Games. And we're going to have two talks, in fact, and then a panel discussion immediately afterwards. Some of you may not know that the Computing Science Department here at the University of Alberta was the first established in Canada back in 1964. And since then, it's been home to numerous experts in artificial intelligence and machine learning. And we've been world leaders. In fact, right now, we are ranked third in the world in artificial intelligence and in machine learning. And that's quite a landmark. The research, what you're going to hear tonight is about games. And it doesn't sound very research intensive, but you have to understand that people work on games for the sake of strategy, and these strategies are implemented in the commercial world as well, and for applications in robotics, civil engineering, bioinformatics, and the list goes on. And some of you may also know we're fairly famous here for checkers. A couple of decades ago, that was initiated here and solved ultimately here by one of the people speaking tonight. We've also made big contributions to chess. We're going to hear more about that tonight. And more recently, researchers here have tackled poker and the game Go in the last few years. Some of you saw there's two new books co-authored by the speakers this evening, and that demonstrates that we continue dominance in this area, artificial intelligence and computer gaming. So more specifically, Ryan Hayward will discuss Hex, the full story, which tells how the game came out of World War II and was popularized by Piet Hein, John Nash, Martin Gardner, and it says here a hockey-playing physicist. I'm a physicist too, and I play hockey, but it isn't me. It's a fairly famous guy. I looked him up, Jens Linhart, I guess.
Oh, you spoiled it.
Sorry. So I shouldn't tell him that he actually.
No more.
Oh, okay. So Ryan is a long-time hex man. His research team built MoHex, the world's strongest hex bot, and has solved hex on all boards up to size 10 by 10. So he'll tell us more about that later, and I can't say anything otherwise he'll get upset. Our second speaker tonight, Jonathan Schaeffer, will discuss man versus machine, challenging human supremacy at chess, and detailing the development of chess bots from 1770 until today. Jonathan is founder of the UAlberta Games Research Group. I mentioned checkers. His checkers bot, Chinook, was the first computer program to win a world title in a competition against humans. And he wrote a book about that a long time ago, and I think there's a second edition. It's one of the first books I read upon coming here more than 20 years ago, and it's a fascinating story. And as I mentioned, his team later solved the game checkers, which means that they can't lose. Following these lectures, both Ryan and Jonathan will be joining a panel discussion and Q&A with Martin Mueller and Michael Burrow, two other faculty members here in computing science. And that will be moderated by Mario Nascimento, who is the chair of computing science here at the University of Alberta. So, without further delay, please welcome Ryan Hayward.
Okay, thank you, Frank. Can you all hear me? me? All right, well, good evening, Edmonton. How are you all doing tonight? How many of you have heard of the game of hex before? Whoa, fantastic. And how many of you have not? All right, good. So I will tell you all about it. So many years ago, I was working on my PhD and I found out that my PhD supervisor was going to go to France to work on a book with somebody else. And I said to him, oh, I like France. He was kind of stunned, but he invited myself and 3 other PhD students to come with him to France. We had to pay for our own board. And while I was there, I met this man, Claude Berge, a famous French mathematician, and he loved to play the game of hex. I'd never seen this game, and I didn't realize, he taught me, that there's a fascinating kind of tricky logic that underlines expert play in the game. So I thought, oh, somebody should write a book about that someday. So that was 1984. So I just finished. So what I want to tell you tonight is a very little bit about the book, and I also want to tell you how to play hex. 2 players. They play on this board. One player has black stones and is also assigned to 2 black sides. The other player has white stones and is assigned to 2 white sides. The game starts, the player puts down a stone. The goal is to join your 2 sides. So black wants to form a line of stones joining their 2 sides. If you are new to the game, here is a tip. The most important thing is, don't worry about joining your sides. Stop the opponent from joining their sides. Because this game has a nice property. It's impossible for the game to end in a draw. If you stop them from joining, you will have won. So where can white play to stop black? Maybe right there. Try to block black. Now black's thinking, where do I play to block white? Maybe something like that. Now white tries to block black tries to block white, and so on. With your neighbor, pick an empty board. If you haven't played before, maybe think the 4x4 board, and play a quick game of hex. Go. So remember whose turn it is. Remember whose turn it is. And then at the end of this talk, we can finish your game. So you might wonder, how would this game finish? So with 2 strong players, this game would finish something like this. And who has won? Which color has won? Correct. All right, so you guys are all hex players now. Where did this game come from? Where did this game come from? It came out of World War II, and it first appeared in Denmark. Then it kind of fizzled out. And as the Cold War was beginning, right after World War II, it reemerged in Princeton. And then it was played mostly among people who knew mathematics. It mostly existed in math departments. But in 1957, the game was sort of publicized around the world. So in this talk, I'm just going to tell you a very small part of the story of hex, the beginning, and those are 3 things I'll mention. The game was designed by Piet Hein. You might have heard of him. He's a well-known Danish designer. He's especially well-known to Danes. And he's also a bit of a poet. So there's Piet Hein in the center at the back. He was a bit of a black sheep. He did not like to conform. He does not have a tie on. In the front row is Niels Bohr, Nobel Prize winner, and also I believe Heisenberg is there, also a Nobel Prize winner. So he was studying in Niels Bohr's group, but he never got his PhD. He left university without graduating in 1931. So how did he support himself? Consulting. Mostly inventions and some engineering consulting. He also invented this game called the Soma puzzle or the Soma cube. So this is a 3 by 3 by 3 block composed of these 7 shapes, and the puzzle is to put these shapes back together to form a cube or to form other interesting shapes. And Piet Hein made a significant amount of money from this game. So, 1940, April 9, is when World War II really came to Denmark. Because that's the date that Germany invaded Denmark and Norway. And when that happened, some things went on as before, but some things changed. A lot of the business things changed because the Germans took over all the factories, for example, and Piet Hein was out of work. So he was looking for sources of income. One of the things that he started doing was writing poems called Grooks. And you might have heard of this Grook. Losing one glove is certainly painful, but nothing compared to the pain of losing one, throwing away the other, and finding the first one again. At the time, Germany had installed censors for all newspapers in Denmark. But the censors were Danish. And the censors saw that this poem has a hidden meaning that the Germans might not understand. With your neighbor, what is the hidden meaning? It represents allegiance to your country. So this is basically an anti-German poem. It says, don't be too quick to welcome the invaders. Because if they get kicked out, your neighbors may remember who you were for. And the Germans thought, oh, what a great little poem. Problems worthy of attack prove their worth by hitting back. This is a poem that your supervisor probably reads to you as you're halfway through your PhD. Okay, so we're in the 1940s. Piet Hein is looking for work. He's writing his poems, and he's always got it in his mind to invent a new game. So he gets an idea from a game while he's thinking about the 4-color problem. How many of you have heard of the 4-color problem? It's a famous map coloring problem from the 1800s. You have a map with lots of countries, and you want to color the map using the fewest number of colors. How many do you need? It seems like the answer is 4. This problem was famously solved in the 1970s with the assistance of a computer to check many cases, thousands of cases. At the time, it was known to be true only for maps up to around 35 countries. So while thinking about this problem, Hein makes this observation. Suppose you have a rectangle, and you have 4 dots, each on one side. And suppose you want to draw a line connecting the top dot to the bottom. And the line has to stay inside the rectangle. And similarly, you want to connect the line going from left to right. Do those 2 lines have equals? The answer is yes. Yes, they do. So this was the basis for Hein's game. What if you have 2 armies, each with 2 groups? So the black army has a group of soldiers up here and a group of soldiers down here. The white army has soldiers over here and soldiers over here. And this is a big empty field. What's the goal? Each army wants to join its 2 groups. But because of this observation, I knew it would only be possible for one group at most. So that was the idea for his game. But then he realized, if you play on the usual rectangular grid, you can get cases where neither army can join. There's a deadlock situation. So he immediately rejected this as being an interesting idea. few years later, this is in 1942, he realizes, wait a minute, it doesn't have to be a rectangular grid. It can be a hexagonal grid. And now with the hexagonal grid, we have the property that I told you before, there won't be deadlocks. It's impossible for both groups to fail to join up. So one group will have to join up with its other group. So what you're looking at here is from the pages of Denmark's largest newspaper, Piet Hein, the 26th of December 1942. And the title translates, "Would you like to learn Polygon?" Polygon was the game originally given to what we now call games. So how was Piet Hein going to make money from this game? He was going to sell little booklets. I think they were about that big. They would fit in your pocket. About that big. And each pad or booklet had 50 sheets like this inside. So this is a paper and pencil game. One player has circles, the other player has stars. Join your two sides, mark with a pencil, play the game. When you're done, you even have a record of the game. And then you throw it away. There's the inside back, the outside back of the pad. So that's how Hein made his money, and 20,000 of these pads were sold in the middle of World War II. So one way in which Hein marketed the game was he had a regular column in the newspaper from about, December 1942 to August 1943. And the key feature of each column was a puzzle, like this one here. And what's beautiful about these puzzles is they all have a unique winning move. So on your sheet, you have this puzzle with your neighbor. It's white to play and win. Can you find the move? I'm going to let you think about this for a while because it's a beautiful puzzle and I don't want to spoil it for you. And even experienced hex players take a while to figure this one out. But what I want to show you is just one obvious thing to try, and let's see how that goes. So it's white to play. So you might think, well, just push through here. How many think that this looks reasonable? This looks reasonable. I think it looks reasonable. Because now all you've got to do is get down there and you've got this cell for influence. So maybe the game will play out like this. White and black and white. And now black is forced to block there, else black will lose. But now white can run this way. White, black, white, black, white, and what the heck? Black wins this game. Okay, so it turns out that move one, shown here, is not a winning move. That's your hint. Let's go on. Okay, so this is a long-term project, and one of the most fun parts about it for me was along the way, I kind of got tired of it at the point, but along the way I met this mathematician, Bjarne from Denmark. He loved maths, and we talked a lot, and I found myself going to visit him and working on the book. So eventually I got him on as a co-author. And we had just about finished writing a draft of the book in the fall of 2017. And I was in Denmark. And it was like a month-long visit. And we left some chores for the last day, things we didn't want to do. One of the things that was bugging me was, these puzzles are so beautiful. I wanted to learn how the Piet Hein composed them. What's the trick? Well, there's this quote we saw in the newspaper article where Piet Hein seems to say he's not a strong expert. And he does not feel obliged to be so, merely because he is the inventor of the game. So wait a minute. Then how can he compose such beautiful puzzles? The other thing was, among his papers, and there were lots of papers and there were lots of things about cash, words in some foreign language that I can't read. So by this time I had learned enough to translate the first paragraph, which says, Polygon is a game for two players, black and white, blah, 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 blah. But on that day, I learned that the next paragraph is much more interesting. The title is Missing Persons Report. In order to bring Polygon to a larger audience, which we all want, right? We all want more people to play X, right? Yeah? Yeah? All right. We need a large supply of Polygon puzzles. So I urge anyone with an interest in the game to construct such puzzles. Send them to me. I will pick one lucky winner, and they will get a Christmas goose. What's this called today? Crowdsourcing. Piet Hein was no moron. He didn't want to work hard. And he didn't know how to create puzzles. So if he didn't know how to create puzzles, who did? Well, there was a little article that talked about a talk about Polygon, where it mentioned there'd be Piet Hein and a Polygon expert, Jens Linhart. You guys already knew that. Jens Linhart. So we thought, well, what do we know about Jens? And then Bjarne says, this is the beauty of choosing him from a co-author. Hey, I went to university with Jens. When Bjarne was at university, Jens was a professor. And Bjarne knew that Jens had never married, was dedicated to his job. After he retired, he still came into work every day, and then one day he died suddenly, and they cleaned out his office. So we're thinking, whoa, maybe they didn't throw this stuff away. And maybe somewhere in his office there's something about two low probability events. But we lucked out. Bjarne went to find the papers at Aarhus University. Among Jens's papers were many photos. Here's Jens with his younger sisters. Here's Jens playing hockey. So as you've heard, Jens is a theoretical physicist. He works in the group of Niels Bohr for many years. And here it is. That is a draft. That's a draft of a puzzle if I've ever seen one. It's got scribbling all over, and it's got this line through it, and the words incorrect written on there. Why incorrect? Well, if you take a look at the underlying puzzle, and then you look at it, you study it, you will find it's got two winning moves. And that's not what Piet Hein wanted in his poems. Lots of fascinating things. Here is a letter that Jens Linhart wrote to Piet Hein. Hey, Pete, I've had inquiries from foreign prisoners of war. They ask, are there any translations of the rules for Polygon in their language? So, very much a game from the war. Okay, let me just tell you about one more little thing before I run out of time here. I want to talk about Karen Margrethe Torberg. Who was Karen? Karen was somebody else who responded to Hein's call for puzzles. How do we know that? Because in the Jens Linhart collection, we found this document. This is Karen's letter, and that's Karen's puzzle. And so, it's also included on your handout, so you can look at that later on. It's ways to play, and here you want to find the best possible move. Because it turns out that when white plays, and I'll give you a hint, white should play here. After white plays there, black actually has one unusual move that will win. Okay, so the game petered out in Denmark, probably because on the 29th of August 1943, Germany got really serious. They declared martial law in Denmark. They moved immediately to send all the Jews who were still there to concentration camps. Happily, in Denmark, somebody had leaked this information, so most of the Jews living in Denmark escaped to Sweden. just say a few words about theory. Ask your neighbor, chess. The first player. The first player in chess. This is a warm-up for the next talk. Can you prove the first player can win or at least draw with your neighbor? How many of you believe that in chess the first player can always win or at least draw? And how many people think you know how to prove it? Exactly. That's one hard problem. Hasn't been done yet. John Nash. You've heard of John Nash, yeah? 1949, he's having a chat with David Gale, Princeton University. Nash is a young graduate student. David Gale is an instructor. And Nash says to Gale, hey, David, I've got this game, and I can prove that the first player wins. Gale says, well, that sounds cool. Describe the game. So he does. He describes the game. He plays on a board like this. Gale realizes, what is that? What is that? That's just playing the game on a hexagonal lattice. Nash is not clear about playing the game. He's just interested in theory. Gale loves to play games. That day he goes home and builds a board, 14 by 14, and he leaves it in the common room of Fine Hall, the math department in Princeton. And from there it becomes popular and spreads. And you know what happened next? Oh, I'm out of time. You'll have to look. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody, for coming today. I very much appreciate that you would spend your time to hear Ryan and I talk about computers and games. I'm taking a very different tact to what I want to present. I started off in computer chess, and I basically stopped working in the field 20 years ago. And I had an opportunity to get involved in writing a book a few years ago, and I left the opportunity. And so I can't really talk, I don't have enough time to talk about everything that's in the book. It's a history of computer chess. It's not a technology book, it's about the people who did the programming, the people who bravely faced the computers. And in the end, it's a story of 250 years of man versus man, technology wanting to build superhuman chess playing programs, and humans wanting to prove their superiority. And so what I'm going to do is give you a brief history of computer chess, skipping a whole bunch of stuff that you probably already know and have heard about, and go into some of the more interesting things that you probably don't know about. And one of the things I've added is, since this is a very personal story for me, a few things that are personal to me and to the Department of Computing Science here at the University of Alberta. So AI and chess. AI was one of the original grand challenge problems. Chess was one of the original grand problem challenges of AI. They thought, well, we could build a chess program that would be a major step forward to building a general purpose AI engine. John McCarthy famously said that chess is the Drosophila of AI. Chess is like the fruit fly of biology. The biologists do a lot of work in genetics by using fruit flies, and so it is with AI scientists. They do a lot of work with game playing programs like chess as a microcosm of the real world. And in 1956, at a famous AI conference, people thought that building a world-class chess playing program would be easy. Not so easy. In 1957, Herbert Simon said, quote, within 10 years, a digital computer will be the world's chess champion, unless the rules bar from competition. Simon is an amazing person. won the Turing Award, which is the Nobel Prize in Computing. He won this Psychology Lifetime Achievement Award, which is the grand prize in psychology. And in economics, he won the Nobel Prize. So he received the most prestigious awards possible in 3 separate fields. So let's go back and talk about 250 years of computer chess. And the first computer chess program goes back to 1970. And it's amazing what smoke and mirrors will do. Baron Wolfgang von Kempelen built a machine that he called the Turk. Wooden box, sliding doors. Inside the box, you could put a small human. But the doors were cleverly arranged, and he had a very ornate script where you would open the door and you could see right through, and there would be nobody there, and with a flourish you would close the door and open another door, and there would be nobody in there, just giving you long enough time for the human to shift their body position. As well, inside he put a whole bunch of gears and rotating devices, and whenever he played a game, he would go through this ceremony of going to the side of the machine and winding it up and getting things whirring around, so it looked like it was actually doing something. And behind the board was somebody dressed in a turban, which is why the game was called the Turk, and this Turk would move its hands to manipulate the pieces, but of course, there really was a human back there. People believed this was an incredible advance in technology. They didn't understand that there was a human back there. Everybody wanted to play this program, including Napoleon Bonaparte, who lost 3 games. But still, it was an amazing engineering feat, and it stood as an amazing piece of technology for many years. Many people were interested in playing it, including a fellow named Charles Babbage. And Babbage, to computer scientists, will know him as the father of computing. In the 1800s, he designed machines that potentially could do computing. But as a forerunner of modern research, he couldn't get the research funding available to do the kinds of things that he wanted to do, and much of his work remained ideas as opposed to real implementation. The first real chess-playing machine was built in 1912, called by Leonardo Torre y Quevedo. And he built this machine, mechanical though it was, to play a very simple rook and pawn ending. King, rook versus king. Sorry, no pawns. King, rook versus king, and it would always mate you. And in the history of computer games, this is actually known as the first computer game period, because it was a computer, mechanical, it would play a game, and there was no human intervention, no smoke and mirrors. It was an incredible design, very clever for the time. And his son, who's actually in the second picture, enhanced it with a robotic capability that would actually legitimately move the pieces, nobody inside. And so for 1912, this was amazing technology. This impressed a lot of people, and in particular, a fellow named Claude Shannon, who was the father of information theory, was very interested in chess, and wrote a paper in 1948, gave the outline for how you might write software to play chess. This is a very important time because computers had essentially just been invented during World War II. The picture on my left shows a chess-playing machine that Shannon built. The picture on the right is a picture taken here in Edmonton in 1989. Shannon was a big fan of juggling and unicycles and a whole bunch of eclectic things. And just before dinner, he decided that he had to take the baked potatoes and juggle them to make sure they had the right consistency. The first real computer chess game was played in 1952. Alan Turing, who is the father of modern computing science, and also, if you were at the last one of these sessions in the fall, the person who led the effort to break the German Enigma machine, the coding machine that the Germans used to send their messages. He was very interested in chess, and he wrote a seminal paper on how you would write a program to play chess. And in 1952, he didn't have the computer cycles, So he became the computer and he simulated his algorithm. And he played a game against one of his fellow colleagues where every move he would sit there and run through his algorithm manually and play the game. His program lost, but it is the first recorded game of pseudo-computer chess. We fast forward to the 1960s. The first real computer program was written by Richard Greenblatt at MIT. It's called Mac 6. Here you can see Richard, the closest to us, seated, playing in the first human tournament. And you'll notice all the high-priced, impressive, modern, portable computing equipment, and everybody watching. You'll notice there's a telephone there because when the computer would move, he would dial a phone number at the chess club halfway across Boston, and somebody would answer the phone and make the move, and then the other move would come back and forth. This was the world circa 1967. In the 1970, programs had advanced a bit and they were playing at the average novice club level. But in 1970, a milestone was achieved. An idea of Tony Marsland, who was then at Bell Labs, was that we should have computer chess tournaments to benchmark the progress in developing chess playing programs. And in 1970, the first such tournament was held, and these tournaments have been ongoing since 1970. It's 49 years, the longest continuous experiment in computing science history. Here you can see the award ceremony for that first tournament. David Slate, the author of a program written at Northwestern University, is receiving the trophy for winning first place. The person on my left is Monty Newborn, who is at Columbia University and soon to move to McGill University. At that first tournament in 1970, Tony Marsland of the University of Alberta was a competitor. In 1974 was the middle of the Cold War, and the first World Computer Chess Championship was held. And the US program from Northwestern University was favored to win, but out of the blue, a nobody program, completely unknown by anybody in the West, named Kaisa, won the event. Here you can see Mikhail Donskoy of the team phoning to Moscow to get moves relayed back and forth. An interesting event that happened in 1974 is I was playing chess and I was a student at the University of Toronto, and I qualified for the Canadian Junior Chess Championships. And at that tournament, I played in the second round a young player from Alberta named Murray Campbell. And both of us finished in the second half of the standings. We were both young chess players at the time, but it turns out in 1974 our paths would cross many, many times in the intervening years, as you'll see. In 1977, something completely unexpected happened. Bobby Fischer was the former world chess champion. You may recall that in 1972, he won the World Chess Championship from Boris Spassky, and then he didn't play another game for 20 years. In 1975, he forfeited his World Championship match to Anatoly Karpov. But in those 20 years, he actually did play. In 1977, completely unannounced, he showed it up at MIT and demanded to play Richard Greenblatt's Mac program. And they obliged him. 3 games were played. Fischer easily won all 3 games. So this is the second time in history that a world champion played a computer program. The first was in checkers in 1968, and in 1977, it happened in chess. Here's a very interesting position. This is from the second World Computer Chess Championship. They're held every 3 years. This was played in Toronto. And I happened to be at the event. I was a student at the University of Toronto. It was played at a downtown hotel, so of course, after classes, I went over to see the World Computer Chess Championship. And I was there when this position arose in round 1. White is Duchess of the Duke University Chess Program. Black is the defending world champion, Kaisa. And in this position, you can see that White's queen is checking Black's king. In this position, Black moved the rook 1 square forward or backward to end the check, and White took the rook off for nothing. And people were aghast. Well, Black has basically given up a rook for nothing, and Black resigned a few moves later. When Black played that move that gave up the rook, people in the audience, including myself, started laughing because it was clearly an example of an incompetent chess program. Must have been a bug. It's terrible. In the front row is the person on the right. His name is Mikhail Botvinnik, former world chess champion, 3-time former world chess champion. He was there, and he had a good laugh along with the rest of us because clearly Black is a very, very weak player. It was only a few days later that you realized that Black had to give up the rook. Any other move by Black results in checkmate. And I'll leave it as a quiz for you to find in this position, when White gives the check, what's wrong with Black's king moving forward? Doesn't work. 1977 was important for me because a few months before this event, I got my first computer chess book. I walked into the University of Toronto bookstore to look for a book on data structures and happened to see this book on the right called Computer Chess by Monty Newborn, then at McGill University. And I bought the book and devoured it, and it's one of my proudest possessions, and it inspired me. It inspired me to the point where 3 years later, in 1980, I competed in my first computer chess event. Finished last, but that was still a really good experience. Now, in those early days, computer chess tournaments were quite a novelty, and they received a lot of publicity. And they say that any publicity is good publicity. Here's Tony Marsland. Joined the faculty at the University of Alberta in 1970 as a professor. There he is today on my right. On the left, you can see a picture from a previous World Championship. And on the left-hand side, second from the left, you can see Monty Newborn, balding, and standing above him is Tony Marsland. Also in the picture, by the way, is Claude Shannon in the middle, and Ken Thompson, who's going to appear in a future slide. Very important people in computer chess history. What I didn't tell you about that first computer tournament in 1970, Tony was competing in it, but he had accepted a job at the University of Alberta, and he had to get here in time for his first classes. So during the event, he arranged for a friend to operate his program while he drove across country. And so he was blissfully unaware what was happening. Somewhere in the Midwest, while he was driving, his program made an incredibly stupid move, lost, and the New York Times was there, put it on the front page under the heading, "Computer Loses in King-Size Blunder." Tony arrived at the University of Alberta, and that was one of the first questions he was asked here, is about his New York Times publicity. For the University of Alberta in 1970, this was a big event. How often do you get on the front page of the New York Times? Especially on day one of your employment. But Tony was a magnet when it came to publicity. In the 1978 North American Championship, there was an entry called Sargon, which was a commercial computer program that you could buy. And the authors, Kathy and Dan Spracklin, were entering it in the North American Championships to see how it did. And Kathy Spracklin was delayed and eventually had to change planes and flew from Florida to Washington and ended up sitting beside a woman. They talked on the plane, and Kathy told the woman about her interest in computer chess. The woman said, "Boy, you know, my husband might be interested in that. I'm going to see if I can get him to come out tomorrow to watch your game." Well, the next day, the Spracklins and their Sargon program, running on a little 16-bit microcomputer, something you can get for $100, was playing Tony Marsland running at the University of Alberta with a multi-million-dollar Amdahl computer, and Sargon won. And the next day, in the front page of the Washington Post appears the story, "Microcomputer beats $6 million machine." See, Kathy Spracklin didn't know that the person she was sitting next to, her husband, who went to the game and sat in the front row, his name is Bob Woodward, the author of the book All the President's Men, Pulitzer Prize winning, and one of the two people who unraveled the mysteries of Watergate. And Tony's pretty sanguine about all this. I mean, how often do you get such great publicity? In 1982, Ken Thompson wrote a short paper. Now, anybody who knows Ken Thompson knows that everything that Ken does is short. If he sends you an email, it will be the smallest number of words possible. Unnecessary words will be deleted. Not only that, the entire message will be in lowercase because it's too much effort to hit a shift key. So he is not known for verbosity. And so this was a long paper for Ken. It was actually 1 page long, but the editors felt more details needed to be added. So it was a 2-page paper. And here's the entire paper. And basically what he showed, the computer chess program performance was strongly correlated with speed. That if you doubled the speed of your program, maybe it went on a machine that was running twice as fast, or you made some software optimization so it looked at twice as many positions per second, that was worth a huge amount in performance. And literally overnight, everybody started looking at chess and saying, we don't need to do all that mainstream AI stuff of putting knowledge into our chess programs. If we want to make them better, all we need to do is make them faster. And Ken proved it. Ken and his collaborator, Joe Condon, built the first master-level chess machine called Bell. You can see Bell over the side, printed circuit boards, commercially available chips, all put together. And in 1983, it became master strength. And for those who don't know who Ken Thompson is, he and Dennis Ritchie invented the Unix operating system. Many people here may know its successor, the Linux operating system. Now, in 1983, when Ken's program was at its peak and competing at the top of the world, I too was competing against him in my first world computer chess competition. I finished 10th, 13th out of 22, and Tony Marsland's program, which had now been renamed Hayward, came tied second to third in the World Championship. Now, by 1986, whoops, what happened to my... All right, well, there's a picture here, and it, unfortunately, the animation is not working very well, but in 1983, another event happened. You'll see a picture from me from when I was a graduate student at the University of Waterloo. I decided I needed to get performance too, and so I decided I needed to build a computer chip. And along with 3 other students, we built a computer chip to play chess. Now this is 1983. We submitted our designs to Nortel. Anybody remember Nortel? We submitted our designs to Nortel for fabrication. We waited a year. By then I'd left Waterloo and had gone to the University of Alberta. 6 months later, the chips arrived, but our team, of course, had disbanded. I still have these chips. I felt I should keep them so that I could prove one day that I was the first to try and build computer chips to play chess. But it never saw the light of day because we never had the resources to actually turn it into a full functioning chess machine. By the way, that mustache only lasted for a few months. By 1986, we had weak grandmaster level programs. Hans Berliner and Jeb Ebeling built high-tech out of Carnegie Mellon University, and they designed and built computer chips that only played chess and put them in a machine with 1 chip per square, so 64 squares, and it elevated computers to the weak grandmaster level. For me in 1986, it was a milestone event because my program Phoenix played in the World Computer Chess Championship, and along with high tech was one of the 4 programs that tied for first place. In 1987, a new program came along, also from Carnegie Mellon, called Deep Thought. An engineering student at Carnegie Mellon decided to try and do a better job of chip design, and he took the design of Ken Thompson's Bell and put it on a single chip, basically getting about a 1,000-fold improvement in speed. Here here's the team. Feng Shu, who designed the chip, is there holding the board. The person on my right, standing over Feng Shu, is Marie Campbell. Born in Edmonton, did his bachelor's and master's here at the University of Alberta, and was one of the members of the Deep Thought team. In 1989, Tony Marsland and I organized the World Computer Chess Championships here in Edmonton. They were held at the Shaw Convention Center, the 6th World Computer Chess Championship. Down below, you can see the critical game between high tech with Hans Berliner in the foreground and versus Deep Thought with Feng Shu on the other side in the background. And you can see a picture of the winner's trophy being presented by Claude Shannon to Feng Shu. The next day, I switched to checkers. My program crashed and burned in the World Championship. I needed to become world champion, so I switched to checkers. And the rest, they say, is history. In 1989, most people don't remember this, with Deep Thought playing at the Grandmaster level. They played the first match against Garry Kasparov. It was only 2 games, but Kasparov, the reigning world champion, won both games rather easily. It's very important to remember that Kasparov was world champion. Deep Thought had no right to be playing Kasparov for any title. This was an exhibition match. Deep Thought had not earned the right to play Kasparov for the World Championship. The Deep Thought team was acquired by IBM and became Deep Blue. And in 1996, Deep Blue played a match against Kasparov, again an exhibition match. Kasparov won the match 4-2. And in 1997, there was another match. On the one side, you can see Deep Blue being escorted to the site. It did not fit in normal elevators. It was a big refrigerator with 512 chips and all sorts of circuitry, and is being wheeled down the 4th Avenue in New York City towards its games. And you can see Feng Shu shaking Garry Kasparov's hand before this epic match. The end result was Kasparov lost the match 3.5, 2.5. Although he lost the match, most people, including myself who was there, believe that Kasparov was still the stronger player. And here's the final result. You can see the Deep Blue team quite happy at the result. You can see a smiling Marie Campbell there, and you can see a very dejected Garry Kasparov. When we go into the early 2000s, computers eclipsed grandmasters and became superhuman. In the early 2000s, there were multiple matches between the best computers versus Garry Kasparov as world champion, and then later on he lost the world championship to Vladimir Kramnik. And Kramnik, as world champion, also played matches against the computer. And although the humans won the occasional game, they did not win any of the matches. The computers tied or won these matches. The 2 pictures there show Kramnik playing different matches against computer opponents. One of them, he drew the match, and in the other, he lost. And one of my proudest moments in the field was in 2002 when I was asked to be the co-referee for the Kasparov Deep Junior match. And now we can look back at computer chess in 2019. It's gone into the stratosphere. Here you can see the level of progress on the bottom axis. You can see the years, and the vertical axis shows chess ratings. Chess ratings are in a merit scale. 1,000 is a rating for a novice player. 2,800 is about where the world champion is at. And you can see that over time there's been steady progress. Programs got better and better. Whether they got better because they got faster, or whether they got better because of more knowledge and expertise remains debatable. But you can see in the early 2000s, computers surpassed the world champion. And with recent developments in the field, in particular a program called AlphaZero, the computers are so much better than humans. 2005 is a milestone. It is the last time humanity was able to win a game against a strong computer. In that game, the computer was winning and had a flaw and made a couple of mistakes and ended up losing. And that's the last time man will probably did win and probably This is just a very brief summary of some of the contributions of all the work in computer chess. First of all, it was a milestone in computing science and AI. Building world-class chess-playing programs was an enormously difficult task, especially when it was posed in the 1950s when we had very slow computers. Lots of ideas had to be brought to the fore in order to make progress in this field. A major contribution was the pioneering of computer competitions. Now they're standard, but 1970 was the first, and the computer chess experiment continues to this day, 50 years later. Many new algorithms for efficient search were pioneered in computer chess and have been deployed in many other applications. And one of the most powerful realizations is that search is knowledge. People often think that knowledge involves heuristics, facts, things that you and I can describe, but computers are very good at search. And just the process of searching and searching very deeply uncovers all sorts of amazing things. And powerful search can compensate for explicit knowledge. And finally, there have been many seminal results in machine learning through computer games. I'm delighted to have spent the last few years working on a book called Man vs. Machine, Challenging Human Supremacy at Chess. It came about because Carsten Mueller, who's a chess grandmaster in Germany, had annotated about 100 of the most important games of man versus machine at chess. Not computer versus computer, humans versus computer. And he was looking for some glue to turn it into a book. And somebody approached me with the idea of writing this book. And as somebody who had not been in the field for 20 years, this was a great opportunity to rekindle my interest in the field and go back to my roots. And so half the book is the analysis of the chess games. Much of that analysis is very interesting from the human point of view. And the other half is my contribution, which is the history, it's the stories, it's the anecdotes, it's talking about the people, it's the programmers, it's the chess players. It's the predictions that were amazingly accurate, the predictions that were wildly wrong. And it talks a bit about the technology in layman's terms so that you can understand the ideas that came forward and how they actually helped the programs advance. It was a lot of fun doing it, and I'm actually very, very proud of the book. I still keep in touch with the computer chess community, and here's a picture from last month. I was in California, and I had to look up Monty Newborn. He's since retired from McGill University. He now lives in Sacramento, and we had a wonderful lunch together, reliving the old times, and out came the chessboard, and we played a game of chess. Let me just say that that game will not appear in any book. The moves are thankfully lost to posterity.